So I'm just going to give you a brief little introduction to what we're learning, and from there, I will pass the mic. First things first, any illness that you have comes from certain type of mindsets and emotions that you hold in your body, okay? So they're going to explain more in detail, but things that you went through in your life, and a lot of us that act on things autopilot has to do with things that we went through in our childhood that we did not release, and we harnessed it within our cells and DNA to the point where it's causing diseases. And then with the foods you eat, you're basically feeding these parasites, but you say it's so good because your grandmama had it and your great-grandmama had it and ain't nothing wrong with them. But you got to understand, today we're in a new day and time. They did things totally differently, and you didn't have as much chemicals as you do now. So with that stated, just to let you know that all of the information, all of the ancient texts came from us, okay? Even if they say, Chinese reflexology, acupuncture, all of that came from us. Or meditating, going to the Buddha, not taking anything away from anyone's religion. However, all of that came from us. So right now, we want to take not only our healing, holistic remedies, but our power back. So I'm just going to read a little bit from my notes, just to give you a brief, and then I'm going to pass the mic, okay? First and foremost, anything that's wrong with you, let's say that you have, for an example, do you know anyone that has a blood deficiency? High blood pressure, anything of that nature? Do y'all know anyone in your family? Okay, did you know that if you eat certain organic foods that channel the colors of what you're going through, you can actually hear yourself? So if you have any blood deficiencies, beets, grapefruits, thank you, sis. Anyone else know a red fruit? Tomatoes. Sorrel. That's the hibiscus, correct? Yes. Okay, so let's talk about anything that has to do with antibiotics. So let's say you have fungi, things of that nature. We use white and garlic. Anything that has to do with grounding yourself. If you're all over the place, we use brown foods. All things, if you want to cleanse yourself, all things we already know the color is green. So you eat green leafy foods, okay? Now let's go to seeing what's going on with you that our ancestors used to do. So I can walk up to an individual and I can study them. I can study their face. I can pull out their tongue. I can study their feet. And just by me being knowledgeable in the colors and also the different types of inflammations, things of that nature, I can tell what's going on in your body. I can tell, and as a matter of fact, I can pinpoint it to the organ. All of your organs connect to your hands and feet. And we call the tongue the second heart. Because if you pull out your tongue, I can be able to tell you what you're eating too much of, and what you need to let go, just by your tongue. Your tongue never lies. And we already know the eyes is to the window of the soul. If I look at you in your eyes, anything going on with your eyes, whether they're increasing, the discoloration, that has to do with your organs. I'm gonna pass the mic. Now I'm just touching on a couple of things. Last but not least, I know Mrs. Zelia touched on your right side of your body has to do with the masculine side of you. The left side of your body has to do with the feminine side of you. Any ailments that you have with your body, depending on the side, our ancient ancestors trickled it down to, okay, so if it's on your right side and we know that that's the masculine side of your body, well then, who has daddy issues? Who is the man in here that doesn't feel powerful or feel like they can't speak up? Because all of that translates into built up energy, which turns into prostate cancer. moving on.
I shared.
I just want to say this in closing, okay? And I'm just doing a little impromptu. I'm learning so much, and it's so much I want to share, but I don't want to take away from anybody's time or the knowledge that they have. But what I want to say is basically that us as a people, we a lot of times don't realize that we're going through ailments until we're in detrimental situations, and it doesn't have to be that way. A lot of times the older, we look up to our elders, but at the same time, a lot of these elders taught us our ways because they adapted the way of the man that's not really for you, instead of adapting to your ancestors who were in tune with nature. So I feel like we need to get back to nature. So that's what I want to say right now. And I thank you for your time and patience.
That was phenomenal. She's only into week 2. We have 8 more months, and she got all of that from 2 weeks. So this is a calling, you guys. These people were called. What I did is I meditated, and I asked for the